Patriots, mount up. Hello, salty dogs. Welcome to the Salty Sailor Live. I'm your honored but humble host, the Salty Sailor. Talking to you live from my bunker in sunny AZ. It is now February 2nd, 2021 of a new patriotic republic. Thank you, everybody, for joining me tonight and this evening. I did want to start off to make sure I got my comments on this time. So now I can actually see you if you reply as I'm going along in the process. I appreciate it again. I appreciate your patience. So here we go. A couple of action items I wanted to get into real quick before I start off the show. Again, this is a hobby of mine. I'm trying like crazy to do the adjustment in terms of getting kicked off 6 platforms. Beforehand, I switched to live. I did live on the fly, so I'm just now kind of branching my wings from the past. So bear with me. Now it's about my 14th show divided between the podcast and the live event. Essentially, I'm not going to be on here begging for sponsors, but I would like some if it's possible. Whether it's a sponsor, a big sponsor, small sponsor, it really doesn't matter to me. It just helps with a lot of things. Realistically, I'm getting the website up and running. Just actually spreading the word and other stuff. I'm not looking for a lot. Just if you guys have an upcoming conservative business you want to promote or anything like that, feel free to do so. I would love to help you guys out. Obviously Grunt Style is one of my favorite brands in terms of ex-military veteran owned. Would love to promote them if anyone knows them, or Lions Not Sheep, that kind of thing. As you can see, I make my own hats. I'm not a professional, so there you go. But any person that wants to advertise their business or whatever, feel free. I'd love to do that for you guys as well. So if you guys know anybody, any help with logos or shirts, message me. My email address is saltysailor at saltysailornation.com. Would love to do some stuff with you guys in that regard as well too, or anyone that's talented in tech, because I am definitely not tech savvy, as you have found out with my other podcasts, specifically live, the last couple of ones as well. Any intro music? Can someone do an intro music or drop, so I can add to the podcast? That'd be great. Again, I would give you props as well, just to kind of help me out. I would appreciate it. Again, guys, reminder, this is just a hobby for me. It's something I want to do for fun, not something I want to do for profit. I think it's very important to share any information that we get, in terms of the conservative viewpoint, because I feel that we have not been heard, I guess, from mainstream media. So whether it's from myself, other podcasters in general, or even if you don't want to, put yourself out there, feel free to share some intel to me. I'll promote it on the show. I'll talk about it on the show. I'll obviously put my viewpoint on it. But at least we can get the message out there, guys. I mean, there's a lot of podcasts on the East Coast, Middle America. And Texas, obviously, but I don't really think there's a lot in the West Coast. Honestly, I think that we're kind of lacking in that regard. So hopefully this promotes Arizona as well, and then we can kind of get the word out there from a conservative viewpoint. So again, I appreciate it. I think it's important to share that information. I'm all in, as you can tell. Wherever that leads me, good or bad, I'm in it to win it, basically. I defended the Constitution once. I still have been and will do so again over and over again. So help me God. I've already taken that oath, and I'm sure some of you have or have wanted to, and just keep up the fight, guys. Okay, that's enough of all that housekeeping stuff. So let's dive right into episode 6. I wanted to give a quick shout out to Tom. He's a replier on my Facebook page, and he has shared me some intel. And like I have always told you guys, if you guys share me some stuff or give me some stuff, I'll read it on the air. I'll discuss it. I really appreciate his help. Thank you again, Tom, for that. Great. I appreciate it a lot, to be honest. Again, this is about sharing intel to conservatives, since we don't get a lot of it through mainstream media. So this was basically what Tom sent me. And again, I do appreciate it, Tom. And I'll just read it very briefly. Basically, it says, what our founders would think of this administration. Alexander Hamilton asserted that we are now forming a republic form of government. Real liberty is not found in extremes of democracy, but in moderate governments. If we incline too much to democracy, we shall soon shoot into a monarchy or some other form of a dictatorship. Hamilton, is the last letter he ever wrote, warned that our real disease is democracy. Good point. Thomas Jefferson declared a democracy is nothing more than a mob rule, where 51% of the people may take away the rights of the other 49. We're kind of seeing it now today, guys, right? Benjamin Franklin had similar concerns of democracy when he warned that democracy is two wolves and a lamb voting on what to have for lunch. Liberty is a well armed lamb contesting the vote. After the Constitutional Convention was concluded in 1787, a bystander inquired of Franklin, "Well, doctor, what have we got, a republic or a monarchy?" Franklin replied, "A republic, if you can keep it." How true do those words ring today? John Adams, our second president, wrote, "Remember, democracy never lasts long. It soon wastes, exhausts, and murders itself." Again, it's almost like we're like reliving this in front of us, guys. James Madison, the father of the Constitution, wrote in the Federalist Paper, number 10, that pure democracies have ever been spectacles of turbulence and contention, have ever been incompatible with personal security or the rights of property, and have in general been as short in their lives as they have been violent in their deaths. Again, the Constitution itself, in Article 4, Section 4, declares the United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government. Obviously, the framers were not speaking of a political party, as no political parties existed at the time. The Pledge of Allegiance, although not a founding document, does strike the chord when it asks Americans to pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And here's the key part, and to the republic for which it stands. Conveniently, they've been trying to, especially the leftists, have been trying to take the Pledge of Allegiance out of schools. Hello, there's a reason and point behind that. Most people get it, some don't. Shame on them. So I appreciate that, Tom. Again, thank you for that. Any comments or any intel you guys can share with me, I'll gladly read them on the air. Obviously, that kind of spoke for itself. I really didn't have to go in depth with that. That just goes to show you that when the framework or the constitutional framework was put in place, there was a reasoning behind this. They did not want us to, I mean, we were under a monarchy rule before we became a nation, right? With the British. This tells you everything you need to know of where the reason why they made this document so concrete in their viewpoint. I mean, hello, people. I mean, it's coming, right? Anyway, but I appreciate that, Tom. Again, thank you so much. Going forth, the next part of it. So, Texas to fully end funding for Planned Parenthood in Texas. Thank you, Texas. I swear, Texas is starting to be like they're just they're starting it off for all conservatives. I appreciate it. I also DeSantis in Florida. You guys are doing a great job putting up the fight for conservative viewpoints. I'm sure, and all of us, I could probably speak for myself, but everybody, we all thank you for it. I mean, you guys are the staple going forward. I wish more states would get into the fight. And I think you're slowly going to start seeing, because again, it only takes one, right? And you're going to slowly start seeing, people kind of going that trend. So thank you, Texas, again. I'm going to start calling this guy, honestly, one podcast calls him a resident, which I think is hilarious. But I also want to, honestly, this guy, I want to call him Rip Van Biden. He's like Rip Van Winkle. He sleeps across the street. He only comes out at, whenever he's done with his naps. I'm kind of thinking he's a vampire secretly. You've never seen him. He's like completely disappears. You only see him briefly to sign more executive orders. We'll get into more on that later. But basically, Biden's trending on Twitter. I can't even talk English today. As lying Biden. They list a couple of things of why he's lying Biden or what he's falsely promised and it hasn't come true, blah, 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 blah. But one of them was, and essentially what they were really complaining about was a $2,000 stimulus check that he had promised. Oh, yeah, we're going to have a $2,000 stimulus check. No, we're not. It's $1,400, and now they're rolling it into the extra $600 they already gave you that trumped it, or tried to do. Remember, originally Trump tried to do $2,000 and then got fought for it every single way. Now Biden's doing it, and he's only going to give us $400. And I think part of the bill includes sending money again overseas for what? Like seriously, people. First of all, let's just even back up for a second. Isn't that our money in the first place? Why are we asking the government for a handout? I would rather not have the handout And I'm sure, again, it's applicable to a lot of people that definitely need it. But quite honestly, what's going to end up happening, right? Our kids are going to pay for this debt. Like, we're physically putting our kids in danger of more debt that we're incurring. At some point, the well's going to run dry, guys. I mean, what is the bailout going to do? It's not helping these small businesses that had to shut down, or they're still shut down for these stupid COVID restrictions. Now, again, a lot of people have died for this. I'm only speaking for myself in terms of when I say these restrictions. Quite frankly, I believe in herd immunity. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm living it. So again, it's just amazing how there's no flu, right? This whole year, there's no flu outbreaks. Crazy, but I don't want to digress. So there's that. If anyone is super tech savvy in terms of the hashtag, I think this would be awesome. Biden's shaky hand gate needs to be a hashtag to someone that is more tech savvy than me. Here's the question. There was an article. Unfortunately I didn't get a chance to post it. Basically, it was some psychiatrist or no, I'm sorry, some pharmacist like expert that's able to read signatures, right? He's like a professional. He's able to determine if it's a true pharmacist's signature or whatever the case may be to actually authorize it However, he looked at Biden's handwriting on some of these EOs or executive orders, and he could not compare that signature to the ones in Biden's past. Now, there could be a lot of reasons for this. One is that obviously as we all know it's happening in front of us, um, his mental decline, due to God knows what he has, unfortunately, but his mental decline. So obviously he's very shaky when he signs something, and you can see it in the video. It's like right there. He's like, the problem is that here's the thing, and here's where this became kind of a, I don't know if you want to call it conspiracy theory or not, but are the signatures really his? Ponder that for a second. If it's not his, according to this handwriting expert, he looked at it and with a trained eye could tell that it wasn't his or his old signature, right? So whose is it? Could it be, are they really his or his wife's? Obviously, if it was his wife signing for him, that would be invalid, right? We've all jerry-rigged signatures for school when we were, trying to get out of detention or something like that, claiming we were our parents. We've all done it, right? Who's to say this is not happening now? First of all, better yet, why isn't anyone demanding that this should be an issue or even asking about this? Let's compare the signatures. If he can't even sign something, that means every executive order, and it's over 50 now. 50 executive orders. 50. He's only been in office, 3 weeks? 50. That's dictatorship, people. Dictatorship. 50. And then here's a clue. If it's 50 of them, they're not his signature. That means everything's invalid. Everything. So then what happens? That would be the question I propose back to my audience. What happens after that? Does he get kicked out? Like, what's the deal? I'm not saying that he would. Obviously, we've seen that somehow he gets in by dead people voting for him and sleeping all the time. But somehow, some way, what happens there? I honestly think we should have multiple handwriting experts. They do it for trials all the time, right? You're able to hire a handwriting expert. You're able to bring them in the trial, and you're be able to compare signatures. Why aren't we doing this? Why isn't there a rise or stink about this? I think this should be done, guys. Honestly, we should call it shaking hand gate, something to that nature. Think about it. Looks like Judicial Watch, I don't know if you guys saw this on the news, announced today filed a notice of appeal to the opinion of the Supreme Court of Delaware, which is blocking a State Freedom of Information Act request for access to records about Rip Van Biden's senatorial records held by the University of Delaware. Why? That's my first question to you is why. Basically, the Judicial Watch and Tom Fitton and the Daily Caller are trying to have a lawsuit going against Delaware's Attorney General. They were denied access to the records. Basically, there's a lot of public interest, obviously, in why are they keeping his record secret? Like, what's the deal? I don't know. I think they should allow public access to that. I mean, why are they suppressing everything that Biden is doing? That's what I don't understand at all. For years, right? They were in Trump's grill the whole time he was in office, investigating everything. I mean, how many countless times about his taxes, about you don't hear none of that anymore, right? Why are they so quiet? Because they don't want us digging into Biden. Hello, this is common sense 101. This is like a magician doing a magic trick. Okay, you don't want to see what's going on there. Let's do something else to distract them. And that's how sad we are. We're gullible enough to believe all this crap. Ridiculous. So this happened last week. This is another more news. I don't know if you guys saw this. You might have. Um, the Secretary of State for Pennsylvania, Kathy, I think her name is Bookvar, is resigning, and she's a Democrat. Should have probably specified that first. She's resigning her position on February 5th, which is going to be in 3 days. Basically, because her office didn't advertise a proposed amendment to extend statute of limitations for sex abuse victims to file a lawsuit prior to the 2020 election. It should have been made available to the public 3 months prior before they showed up on ballots. Essentially letting you, I mean, if there's a candidate involved, hello, you would need to know if he's a sexual deviant, right? Hello. But I think what it was, basically it says they seem to be worried about failures to change state constitution for this, but not when Governor Wolf and her department circumvented the state legislators to break the state constitution on mail-in voting laws. So it's okay on one side, but it's not okay on the other. Again, we'll let that marinate out there in the ether. Common sense there, guys. I mean, I guess I don't really have to point out much there. Another interesting fact. Obviously, I reported in my last podcast. They're bringing in more National Guard troops into the Capitol. Okay, here's where I'm getting frustrated with this. There's already a wall around the Capitol, or right, DC in general. Okay. Weren't the Democrats against the wall? If I remember correctly, and I know I'm getting old, okay, but weren't they against the wall? Weren't they fighting the fact that we had border security at the border? Wasn't there like a whole big spiel and all this boo ha ha back and forth about this? But yet now they have a wall around the Capitol building with troops, armed guards, more soldiers. Their excuse is, oh my God, the insurrection could happen and we're all charging over the gates. This isn't a movie. This isn't Troy. We're not going to invade our own country, you idiots. Why do we need armed guards surrounding the perimeter of Washington, D.C.? Are we not? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Are we not a free society? Are we not able to, I don't know, walk around the Capitol and view the grounds, the mall, the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument? Why is there walls? Why is there armed guards all over the place? What are they really afraid of? Wouldn't that be something a dictator might do? Wouldn't that be something that if maybe they didn't think they got in validly, that they were afraid of people rebelling? This is all happening right before our eyes, guys. It's like we're in a man in a high castle situation. I mean, they're in their castle on their hill, right? And so apparently they're worried about some guys wearing, or conservatives going over there to start some stuff. They need armed guards for that. Listen, how many people own guns in the United States? I don't know. Wasn't that something like 80 trillion or 80 trillion bullet? Whatever it is. Whatever the number is. Doesn't even matter. How many people own guns? If we really, really want to do something, wouldn't we all go? We have enough guns. Hello? Obviously, there's been no stink, right? So what are they really concerned about? And realistically, guys, and I still believe this, and I could be wrong, but I still really think the military's in charge, guys. And the reason why I say this is, and if you look up martial law, okay, even partial martial law in the dictionary, however you want to look it up, whatever source or platform you look at, when troops are on our streets, that's martial law, people. We're in a state of martial law. Look it up. Don't trust me? Look it up. I'll leave that to marinate there. Another one I want to get over real quick is the Biden residency or Rip Van Biden is now screening reporters' questions before the daily briefings. I don't know what that girl's name is. She looks like a cross between Raggedy Ann and Mark Zuckerberg. Circling back to questions, she's getting mad because all of us, or I'm sorry, the media is actually asking questions that are relevant, maybe. And she's getting ticked off because everyone's roasting her on Twitter and other platforms saying, circle back. Because she doesn't know what she's doing, guys. Hello. So, um, yeah. So basically, they want to screen the questions. I don't remember a former press secretary needing to get screened before questions. In fact, I remember her getting hounded for answers, right? Hounded. And then what was interesting about that was she would provide them an email after the question later on, but you never heard any of that, right? Never. But this lady's like, circle back, and then nothing happens. She obviously doesn't know what she's doing. This screams dictatorship. 2 weeks into this, or 3 weeks, whatever it may be, you're already seeing it. If this keeps going, guys, I don't. I didn't want to say it. You just figure it out for yourself. Things keep going like this, with a lot of reasons. I mean, again, I still think that we're under military control. You guys may not think so or think I'm crazy, but I promise you, look up martial law. Check it out. So Mitch McConnell, the Rhino, is basically kind of, if you view it in the way it is structured, he's basically kind of working, however you want to construe this, working with the demos, right? The lefts. He's backing down a lot of his statements. Basically, he's following the narrative is probably the easiest way to put it. He's now going with, oh yeah, Trump incited a riot. Trump is a racist. Trump supports racists. First of all, no. Last time I checked, I'm Mexican and I'm not a racist. So we'll just get that out of the way right there. They're calling conservatives or people that don't fall in line with their narrative terrorists. Really? What happened to BLM? What happened to whatever those Antifa people? There you go. Why are they building walls around the Capitol with our tax dollars? We the people pay for that, right? Why? Interesting. Why is it when Hillary was going through those trial and errors with her Benghazi emails and all her deleted emails? I hate to bring this up, but why were there school shootings going on to distract? People forgot about Vegas. I mean, I forgot about Vegas, right? School shootings. Everything kind of happens around when everything. Is it related? Don't know. Just kind of sneakingly suspicious how that all happens around when they're trying to direct your attention somewhere else. Crazy world we live in, crazy time we live in. Just stay positive, I would say. There's a lot more coming, guys. I think you're going to be happy with a lot of things in the future. But for now, we got to just stay the course, guys. Stay the course. Final thoughts. I wanted to discuss this. I want to kind of introduce this more, guys, into the show at the very end of it. I wanted you guys to ponder it. I mean, send me some emails if you get a chance, guys, to some of these answers to these questions. I'll go over them through the show. I think we really have to take a hard look at this. Again, my email is going to be saltysailor@saltysailornation.com. Just shoot me an email or make commentary on this. Looks like I'm not getting any comments today for some reason, but send them there and I'll reply to them. But here's a couple thoughts I want to leave you with. Are we becoming a dumber society? Meaning, has reality TV, video games, mainstream media, movies, TV shows causing all this? Basically, our adaptation to how society is dictating what we want, how we view it, how we see it. Okay? Can we literally be sold anything, basically? I'm asking for a friend, honestly. I mean, think about it. We have Alexa's telling us what we want. We have little sidebars that populate every time we order something for socks that we might need with our shoes. We're not only from a perspective of we're just being lazy as a society. We're now under the impression that we can get anything we want at any time, and we're just lazy, and it's basically almost beating the fight out of us, guys. I mean, really think about that. Think about this in terms of getting sold something. People actually voted for a guy. I'm going to just frame this as this. People actually voted for a guy that is losing his mental capacity daily. You can see it. It's not like it's not out there. He takes naps. You don't even see, has he went to go visit the troops? Has he went to some children's hospital on a PR mission? Has he done anything other than stay in the White House and sign executive orders? You haven't seen this guy anywhere. I keep reiterating this. I mean, essentially, guys, we got hosed. We literally got hosed. We have 74 million smart Americans that got robbed. We should all ask for a refund. I think some of you would agree with me, and if you don't, that's okay. But, I mean, look at it. Look at those questions I proposed to you. I mean, I can give you a couple of movie names off the top of my head. I mean, The Purge. Video games like Grand Theft Auto, like things like that. Like, guys, this has been, could be part of a bigger thing. Who knows? I'm just saying that it's a lot different than it used to be, and our ideals and our thoughts are a lot different than we used to be. It's pretty scary, guys, if you think about it. Anyway, okay, so obviously the show's done for today. I appreciate it. Guys, please help me get the word out there on the conservative viewpoint side. Please, mainstream media is not doing that for us. I have friends on the left that are like, oh, how come we've never heard of this on other media channels? Well, duh, number one. But number two, this is the reason, because they're only getting fed what the narrative wants them to get fed, right? So please share this video, like it, share it. If you have any friends that are conservative, please allow them to or share my link to videos. I would love to create followers more, kind of in our viewpoints. Anything would be much appreciated. I'm also on YouTube as well, on Instagram, but I haven't quite figured out how to post on Instagram. There goes my tech savviness. So anyway, this show is dedicated to all the first responders and essential employees. Y'all deserve a shout out. Y'all know who you are. I appreciate you. I'm sure everyone else does. You guys are doing a fantastic job, and I appreciate you. You're going against a stacked deck, but you guys are working hard, and I appreciate you immensely. To all my brothers and sisters in the armed forces, both here and abroad, both past and present, stay frosty. Thank you, Salty Dogs, for listening. Feel free to leave me messages. I'll play them in future podcasts, as we heard earlier from Tom. Keep the faith, Salty Dogs, and hold the line. The Salty Sailor. Peace out.